Come on, don't start. I tell
It's Junior! Gentlemen, here we go. George Rose, take it away. Face-off time here in Sydney. We need everybody here in the audience to make some noise. Here we go. They face it off. Sydney, let's hear it for our main event of the afternoon.
I think it's cute, but I mean that ain't what that is. It's Errol Spence versus Tszyu. He's no caliber of his father. Of his daddy. So he can't even compare himself to his pops. He fighting me. He trying to get out his daddy's shadow. So we'll see come July 26th, can he get out that shadow?
The Tszyu and Errol Spence press conference nearly turned into complete chaos before either fighter even entered the ring. The tension continued to rise until both men stood face to face in a heated moment, forcing security to step in before the situation got completely out of control.
How do you respond to that, Tim?
It's all right. He likes to talk it up as well. Look, I'm a very respectful guy. I came up to him before, tried to shake his hand, and he just walked past me like a disrespectful. And that just shows the type of person he is, and that's all right, you know. Now he's out here talking about the comparisons between me and my dad. I've heard it all. There's every fighter that I've ever fought has said the same thing.
Man,
so
you've been talking
it's all right.
on social
it's all right.
media.
They
shot dap me
they
up.
right.
I'm not finna. I don't play them games with people, bro. I don't dap up people who talk shit. And then when you see me, you want, hey, what's up, buddy? Like, I'm not one of those dudes, bro.
Spence did not back down for a single second and quickly fired back by saying, I have been beating champions for years, and you are just the next name on my list. Tszyu answered right away by saying your best days are already behind you.
I'm not one of those guys, if you talking social media, and then when you see me, you want to shake my hand.
I'm very respectful. What are you talking about? I've been calling you one of the best fighters of this decade.
I heard all the little stuff,
right.
and they want to give me a hug. Like, I'm not
that's all right.
I'm cool with that. We can hug after the fight. We can hug after the fight.
All right, Errol, I'll leave you with final comments. What are fans going to see Saturday here in the U.S., July 25th, and Sunday in Australia, July 26th?
I mean, it's a war, man. I'm not here to just shake and hug my opponents and all that. Like, it's a war. It's what it is. I'm coming into his hometown, coming to his territory, and I'm looking to take over. So I mean, why would he want to shake my hand? He's coming to destroy me. You know, coming to knock me off and retire me. And, you know, I'm coming to beat him and show him that, you know, he's not up to anything of my pedigree. So it's going to be a great fight, and I know that I will become victorious come July 26th.
If the press conference was this intense, then fight night could turn into complete chaos. The atmosphere already had people wondering if these two were ready to forget about the ring and settle everything right there. Then the face-to-face interview somehow made the tension even stronger.
You denied that hand. You didn't like it. Errol Spence, is that a sign of no respect or just the timing, the moment?
I respect him, but it's more about the timing and the moment. And, you know, man, we're gearing up for war. You know, coming into his home country. He's looking to retire me. You know, and I'm looking to take over in his country and disappoint him and his fans. So I just feel like, and I told him, I'll shake his hand and give him a hug after the fight. But right now, it's about war. It's wartime. It's time to go.
You could feel the tension the moment Tszyu reached out for a handshake and Errol Spence refused it. Spence made his message clear by saying respect can wait until after the fight because right now it is war. That attitude made sense because no one travels across the world to make friends. They come to spoil someone else's biggest night. Tim answered with calm confidence by saying there is no war yet because the real one begins on fight night. That response grabbed everyone's attention because he never looked shaken for a single moment.
Did you feel war before you got in there?
That's all right. That's if we're gonna play like that, that's all right. You know, like everyone's each to their own. I get how it is. I'm good. I'm sweet with that.
Is it war now, or was it war before now?
There's no war now.
There's no war now.
There's gonna be war on fight night. And I'm geared up for it. I'm just locked in now. Made me a little bit less happier, a bit more.
Meanwhile, Spence kept saying tune-up fights are a waste of time and reminded everyone that he has always taken the toughest challenges without easing into them. That is exactly the kind of approach people expect from Errol. Then the conversation shifted to retirement ring rust and who was truly prepared before Spence casually said, "Let us spar today." At that moment, it was obvious neither fighter was pretending. The smiles meant nothing because these two were already in a fight, even though the opening bell had not rung yet.
I want the best competition that's available. You know, I respect him. He definitely got a lot of heart. He got a lot of pride, you know. So I think it's going to be great. But I'm not one of those guys who just, you know, I take a tune-up, yeah. Or I need another tune-up, you know. Like, I'm not just wasting time for me. I feel like it's wasting time. I'm fighting somebody I know I'm going to beat. Like, what's the point of that? Mm-hmm. You know, I want to fight somebody who, you know, people have doubts. Mm-hmm. That'll give me more motivation when people got doubts. Like, man, either going to come back that same guy, he's going to come back the same killer. Is he still the biggest? You know what I'm saying? So I definitely look to show everybody and prove to myself and prove to everybody that I am still the biggest in any division that I'm in.
Teddy kept coming back to one important issue, which was inactivity. That is honestly the biggest question surrounding this fight. Everyone remembers how good Errol Spence looked before his long break, and that is not up for debate. The real question is whether that same fighter will return after being away for 3 years. Teddy pointed out that Spence has already shown he can perform at a level Tszyu has never reached, but boxing does not reward what a fighter did in the past. Every boxer has to prove what they can do today instead of relying on yesterday's success.
Maybe we already got a little bit of a peek into what inactivity does. It was 2 years longer, and it was a different, it's a different sport, but it's a combat sport. It's UFC, of course. But Conor McGregor, 5 years off, you can't do it. I mean, Muhammad Ali, when he came back 3.5 years off, he had 2 tune-ups, and he couldn't beat Joe Frazier the first.
Then Teddy started talking about Muhammad Ali-Conor McGregor ring rust timing and reflexes, and suddenly it became clear this was about much more than throwing punches. It was about what 3 years can quietly take away when no one is paying attention. At the same time, I am not ready to count Spence out because we have seen him walk into hostile arenas before and leave with the crowd completely silent. That has always been his style. Then Teddy brought up something I had not really considered, which was the weight change. Spence asking to move up to 160 makes this fight even more unpredictable, and boxing fans always enjoy that kind of mystery until the opening bell rings. Even the coaching change with Jeff Fenech gave Teddy something else to think about.
Know that Tszyu has a legendary former champion now training him.
Fenech.
And Jeff Fenech. And I sometimes you could say, wow, that's a good thing. I don't know if it's all. We'll find out. I don't know if it's always. Maybe it is. I don't know if it always is. Because I've seen former fighters. I've been in the trenches seeing it. Where former fighters, some of them become like Buddy McGurk, became a really good trainer. Andy Lee, become a really good trainer. But some of them don't. Some of Roy Jones didn't quite get there to that. And sometimes it's because they try to impose what they did onto the other. And it can't happen all the time that way. Not everyone could do what you did. Not everyone could do that.
Teddy also mentioned that a coaching change can sometimes make a fighter try to become someone they are not. That is one reason I enjoy this matchup so much. Every answer only creates another question. Tszyu has activity youth size and the advantage of fighting at home. Spence has the higher potential, the stronger resume, and the confidence of a fighter who has never cared where the fight takes place. Teddy gives the edge to Tszyu because there are far fewer unknowns surrounding him, and that makes sense. But the interesting part is that every time people think this fight is easy to predict, it somehow becomes even more difficult. That is what makes all the discussion so enjoyable, because once the first punch is thrown, every prediction has to prove it was right.
But again, Spence, smaller man or not, was the higher level, in my mind, and on paper, the higher level talent fighter than Tszyu. But Tszyu his advantages are obviously, again, simplistic. He's fighting at home. He's been active. Yeah, he's been knocked out twice, but he's been active. He had a couple wins in between his last loss. Build-up wins for confidence builders, all that stuff.
5 years younger.
5 years younger, and he's he's again natural bigger guy.
That is where Jeff Fennick's view makes this fight even more interesting, because while everyone else keeps focusing on ring rust weight classes and unanswered questions, Jeff is talking about something that cannot be measured with statistics. He kept saying Tszyu does not need to win the press conference, he only needs to stay fully focused. Honestly, that is exactly how Tim has looked all week. No extra talking, no trying to grab attention, just a fighter who already seems mentally prepared for the battle. Jeff even said the biggest success during training camp was not teaching some special new combination. It was helping Tim enjoy boxing again. That was something nobody expected to hear. Most trainers spend fight week discussing jabs and footwork, but Jeff believes a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. I like that idea because confidence is not always loud. Sometimes it belongs to the person who says very little while everyone else keeps waiting for a reaction.
My legacy's done, brother. All I'm doing,
that.
understand that. What I'm doing is I'm helping a young kid who needs help.
Yeah.
Win, lose or draw, I know I've helped this man.
Yeah.
Or this young man. I know I've helped him tremendously. I mean, you get all these people asking questions, asking me questions. And listen, there's only one person you've got to ask. Go in the other room and say to Tim, how do you feel? Are you happy? Have your preparation been right? That's Jeff Fennick going to help you. I've more than helped him. Like I said, I've made him a happy human being. And he hasn't been that for a long time. And I'm so proud of doing.
Then Jeff started explaining the game plan by saying Errol will try to force Tim into fighting his style, while their goal is to pull Spence into their own fight. That is what top-level boxing is all about, because the battle of strategies comes before the battle of punches. Another thing that stood out was how Jeff never tried to make the spotlight about himself. He kept saying his legacy is already complete, and now his only focus is helping Tim become the best fighter he can be. That kind of confidence does not need attention. Even when the interviewer started talking about winning, Jeff quickly stopped it and brought the discussion back to taking the fight one round at a time. I respect that, because championships are usually won by fighters who focus on the next 3 minutes instead of celebrating too early. Now we have Teddy Atlas raising questions about the unknowns, Jeff Fennick believing in Tim's mindset, Spence trusting his experience, and Tim believing in the work he has put in. Everyone has a different opinion, and that usually means boxing is about to answer the only question that truly matters once the bell rings.
We've got a huge job ahead of us. I mean, all these people saying, what's Jeff Fennick going to do? I've already done what I need to do. I've made Tim happy. I've given him the best camp that he's had. I mean, everybody says, I've had the best training camp. Well, this is not the best training. This is completely different to what Tim Tszyu does, and it's a completely different Tim Tszyu that I'm talking to. I've spoken to him prior to fights before. You don't get much out of him. He's not sour, but he's not happy. He's always in that mental state that I just want to kill somebody. He's not in that state now. He's in a state that I'm the happiest guy in the world. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to prove to the world that I'm the best fighter.
That mindset Jeff Fennick kept talking about is exactly why Paulie Malignaggi refuses to make an early prediction, because he keeps returning to the same point. This fight has more questions than clear answers. I respect that, because too many people are acting like they already know what will happen. Paulie is basically saying, let us first see which version of Errol Spence steps through the ropes. That is the biggest question of all. He explained that Tim Tszyu's strengths and weaknesses are already well known, but with Spence everyone is still guessing after 3 years away from the ring. Then Paulie started breaking down the styles, and that is where things became even more interesting. He reminded everyone that Spence is not just a fighter who keeps moving forward. Everything begins with his southpaw jab before he starts attacking the body. If that old rhythm is still there, Tim could have serious problems. But then Paulie changed direction again and questioned whether Spence still has the same punch resistance. That is exactly the point, because every answer only leads to another question.
Is there really an expert opinion when a guy's been out for 3 years? How do you know what you're gonna get? You know, it's very difficult to just pinpoint it for sure. You know, it's like we know how Tim's been looking. We know where Tim's showing some flaws, and we know where Tim's showing some strength, right? Even in this little recovery of a couple of wins he's had recently. With Errol, we have nothing. We have nothing at all. I don't. You know, I'd love to be able to break down and detail and things like that. You know, Errol's usually a machine. He comes forward, he presses behind a high guard and all this southpaw stance, southpaw jab. But does he have punch resistance left?
I also liked when Paulie brought Jeff Fenech back into the discussion by saying the biggest change is probably not technical at all. It is mental. That matches everything Jeff has been saying from the beginning. A happier Tim, a more aggressive Tim, and a Tim who is ready to push the pace instead of waiting for opportunities. Paulie also explained that moving straight backward against a left-handed fighter like Spence is asking for trouble. So do not be surprised if Tim tries to make the fight uncomfortable from the very first bell. Then Paulie casually delivered one of the funniest comments of the week by saying he would tell everyone how the fight was going after the second round. That was probably the most honest prediction anyone has made. He even joked that betting on this fight feels almost like pure gambling because nobody has enough information to be completely confident. That is why this matchup has everyone so interested. One side believes the proven champion will return, while the other believes time never gives anything back. Somehow both arguments sound believable until the first clean punch lands.
If Tim can be physically stronger as a naturally bigger guy and also make Spence pay on the end, maybe countering that jab with some power right hands. I noticed Tim early in the first Fundora fight was using that right hand very well, a little bit of a wide right hand against a southpaw, which tends to work. You know, we can start to see maybe you test Errol's chin a little bit and see where he's at, you know, because I think, you know, getting hit with 8 or 10 ounce gloves when you haven't been hit in a few years and you weren't taking the shots that well when you did go, you know, I think if you're Tim, you want to remind him early. He's been away for 3 years. They call Spence in America Mr. No Tune-Up. I don't necessarily agree Mr. No Tune-Up is the way to go here, especially when you've been looking as bad as Spence had.
That is what makes this fight so exciting. Everyone has their own opinion, but nobody really knows the answer until the punches start landing. Now it is your turn. Who do you think wins, and why will Errol Spence prove all the doubters wrong, or will Tim Tszyu protect his home ground and show that this is his moment? Share your prediction in the comments because I want to see what everyone thinks before fight night. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Alert for more boxing news, fight breakdowns, and reaction videos. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.